Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today. Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about some of these activist professors that are cropping up or have been around for a bit all around Western academia, so in the United States, Australia, Britain, and so on. And looking at the more activist academic sort of, can you call them academic, activist pastime, child minding pastimes in college, all across the Western world, and having a look at some of these professors. Now I'm looking at just a few here. I was surprised when there was a news article about one recently, and surprised that she was actually given a post as a, wait for this, as a professor to teach gender studies when she was 24 years old. Now you go, wow. I mean, maybe she was an exceptional student or something. Maybe she's some genius, social studies Einstein or something. But no, not. She was a very ordinary student in high school. Was affirmative action through junior high into senior high school. She was a street activist from the time of junior high school. So she was running a placard, waving on the street. She's a lesbian, covered in tattoos, and as angry as fuck. I mean, you couldn't get somebody more angry, and has really just moved that NGO activism, strident gay lesbian activism, into the classroom. And she's been given tenure. On what basis, God only knows. She did some gender studies course at a third grade university, but was given so many dispensations for activism, street activism, and the fact that she worked for a gay lesbian NGO meant she was given time off and given excellent grades, even though she'd done nothing. She'd put in no paper or put in no essays or theses or anything like that, and yet she's given a good pass in this third tier, fourth tier really, university, and then she comes straight out of that and is given tenure. So she's straight out of that and is a professor now, and you've got to be kidding. There's no way that should be the case. So we're looking at this very angry, hates the Western world, hates white men, hates the family, hates capitalism, hates everything about the Western world, but is quite happy to feed from the trough of the benefits of the Western world. Quite happy to do that. Well, why don't you go and live in some dirt poor African country and make a living there? Oh, no, I want to stay in the white countries. I want to stay where the money is, and I want the benefits of a job for life, and I want all the comforts and everything from these damn fucking Nazis. Well, what if they're all damn Nazis? Go somewhere else. No, because I want the benefits of it. So here she's got 24 years old. I mean, she's now 26, and some of the comments by students. Now, not every student who does gender studies, by the way, or has a component of gender studies in their course, and I'll come back to that in a minute, how gender studies has actually been sprinkled throughout the entire university curriculum, or pretty much. Not everyone doing the gender studies course, or again, a unit of it, is a lesbian or hates men or something. There's quite a few students that have been waved through from high school into university who simply shouldn't be there. They've got an IQ of 80 or something, they shouldn't be there. But they realise this is a course where nobody fails. All you have to do is say how straight white males are all Nazis. All you got to do is say, and you got to pass. I mean, that's really all you have to do. And students sort of think that's a bit funny, the straight ones in particular. So and then some of these have gone on like TikTok or online and talked about it, and some are decent looking straight girls, for example, who say, look, I'm only doing this course because no one fucking fails it. All I have to do is say that all white men are Nazis, and they'll give me a triple A grade pass. So hey, why wouldn't I sort of take the easy path? So, and then they can come out of college with it might be a useless bullshit degree, but at least they got one. So they view it as sort of a okay, we'll sell ourselves out to, to almost a Faustian pact, really. We'll sell ourselves out to the forces of nonsense, and in return they'll give us a bit of paper. And I mean, fuck, fair deal, I say. And that's the argument, I think, or the view that some of these, again, straight students take. Now, any girl who's not a lesbian and who clearly is straight, and who isn't covered in tattoos and who isn't part of the NGO activist placard waving mob is treated with some suspicion by the angry lesbian gender studies professor, and so they sort of have to really double on the Nazi thing. You have to say that all white men are Hitler twice in your essay, and if you don't, I'll fail you, you damn straight bitch. So anyway. These angry young professors, there's not just one here, one there. They're actually all over the place. Or they're associate professors or understudy professors, or they're like project course leaders in the universities. So their next step would be to become a professor. And really, all they have to do is show sufficient hatred of white people and heterosexuality, and they're good to go. So it's a pretty simple thing. There's no academic standard they have to meet. They don't have to deal in facts or accuracy or anything like that. They've just got to. Now, also, you notice that they see themselves as international activists at any time they choose. So, say, for example, the government of Uganda recently passed, I think it was Uganda, could have been Nigeria, but I think it was Uganda, passed a law, or maybe a series of laws, I think, outlawing various aspects of homosexuality. And, if it was private, that's one thing. But if you want to go public and have LGBTQ marches and do all that sort of stuff, then it's not on, and you can be arrested and charged with a crime. Now, this is considered by these activists as an absolute outrage. They can impose anything they want on straight society or the rest of society, and they should be able to do so with impunity. And so they're outraged by this. So they see themselves as international activists for the cause. So they'll announce the government of Uganda is and that just shows that Nazis are closing in. The Nazis are coming for us. So in your essays today, I want you to condemn Nazis 100 times. And if you don't say that every straight white male is Hitler, I'm going to fucking fail you. And that's the type of message. So they have to reflect the emotional sort of angst has to be reflected in the work they're currently doing, essays or whatever, because something happened in Uganda or something happened in, I don't know, fucking China or something like that. So, and they'll also gin up other things like it's possible that Donald Trump could be president again, and we all know what'll happen. It'll be Hitler. And so they have gin it up again there. So hysterical, insane, nonsense of low IQ activists, but they're being given free rein in colleges. They're being, which college anywhere in the world would give a professorship to whether it's associate or a full professorship, to a 24-year-old, screaming activist lesbian with an IQ of 80. I mean, why would you do it? I mean, you wouldn't. You just plain wouldn't, unless your intention was to destroy the society and to create as many, fill up as many people as you can with hysterical, seething hatred, and then let them loose on the community. Maybe Joe Biden give them all a job on the Supreme Court or something. But this is very much destruction society. Now, I just want to talk a bit about gender studies and those sort of courses, but gender studies, how it's been sprinkled out throughout all the other many of the other courses in universities. Even some of the better universities have done this and are doing it. So I'm looking at there's someone we know was interested in possibly reviewing one of her essays, and she was studying I think it's in international trade relations or something like that, international business, that type of thing. And so I'll think of the name of the course in a minute. But it's a pretty kind of a mix of 20% heavy lifting, hard facts, 80% leftist activism and sort of now there's a number of, you get a choice. They don't give you an essay, here's the essay, and everyone gets measured by the one standard on the one essay. They don't do that, which I think is a bit silly, but it's part and parcel of really what's happening now, or what has been happening quite a while, the dilution of any sort of rigor or any sort of independent standards of rigor in tertiary education. So you go through they've got maybe, I don't know, a dozen or so essay topics that are generally around the course subject matter, but some of it's a bit loosely related, I would think. But they've got a couple of questions there. One course is explain in 10,000 words, for example, to explain in 10,000 words how international relations has affected the status of women globally. Now, you can't be right or wrong on this. There's no, I mean, you can cite facts and so on, but the idea is to present a case of oppression of women. So you can pick the most dirt poor basket case African country in the middle of civil war and drought and famine and and say, well, women are hard pressed there. But because of, and then you can really make it up because a lot of facts aren't necessarily available or checkable, and nor do they. So the idea is that you can do a radical feminist activist diatribe for many of the courses in university today that have, if anything, a very indirect relationship to the course itself, and that still can be marked, graded well, so you can still come away with a college degree, even though you may not have done an essay or a thesis that even relates to the course material. And this is increasingly being offered, but you don't get the same thing offered to men. So it becomes a one-sided thing. The men are still required to do, or the boys, young men are still required to do the heavy lifting on the actual course material. There could be, international trade relations as an example. Now, international trade relations is actually a very important subject. It takes in, tariffs and various measures of protecting local industry, lack of competition, the effect of the market competition, the effect of that reduced competition on prices, and then how that impacts the working classes or people that don't have full-time employment, or those sorts of things. So this is all part of the subject that could still have its social studies aspect, but directly related to the course. But here they can go, no, you can say, how does it affect the status of women, the rights of women, and so on, and take a very unique feminist perspective, or a limited, narrow feminist perspective, and then do it on that, which really has nothing to do, I think, with the course material. But this is now, I was surprised at the amount of courses at university, not just gender studies or those sorts of things, but other things, courses in marketing or business management or those sort of things. They've also got these, many universities also have these sort of questions. What is the effect on the status of women on business management policies? Pick any country in the world or any region in the world. I mean, fuck. Now, this is, or what is the effect on, gay, lesbian rights of business management, or what is the effect on transgenders? And so all these questions are added in, which means radical activists can do any course they want, in effect, and do some bullshit, half-assed, nonsense, low IQ paper or essay, and still come out with a fucking degree at the end, even though they haven't proved any competence whatsoever in the actual course material or the course headline, if you like. And this is very worrying indeed. And I it's not surprising insofar as I'll come across people who've done, for example, international business management or something like that, and talk to them about it, and they just stare at me cluelessly. They've got no idea, and that's because they didn't fucking study it. They just did some bullshit paper on transgenderism in fucking Uganda or something like that. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.